is putting us in a bad spot. I need Public Works or somebody to be able to respond to North Fork since we only have one way out. If something goes across the road, we're screwed. Okay, why don't you hold your position and back out at this point? While you're on the phone with MedCom, let them know there is a camper that is stranded inside Fish Bend, so we'll need an immediate response with a brush rig to clear the road in. They just said that 22 at 67 is on fire. Can we confirm so we're not trapped and sending people up that way? I need that info ASAP.
I grew up, my dad was in the fire service, and so I wanted to follow his footsteps.
I didn't actually get a chance to do it, until like 2015 or 12, somewhere around there, when we lived in an area that had a volunteer / paid fire department in Oregon. And so that kind of started my fire service career after being an EMT.
Being a firefighter here in Central Oregon is a little bit different than being in a city. City firefighters don't really deal with wildland fire.
Meanwhile, a large fire is burning north of Bend tonight.
Started going out in the area around 7:30 tonight. Go now, that means.
Estacada. Mandatory evacuations are underway with residents being told to leave immediately. Now in the town of Medford, the Alameda fire destroyed homes and melted cars overnight. Fire officials say this wildfire season is unlike anything that state has seen in recent memory.
I'm not surprised that he is a volunteer firefighter, that we moved to Oregon and he started up with that, and I'm not surprised he has a gift that I'm thrilled that he wants to use. He has a giving heart. I do worry about him, but he's volunteering his time. I think that's one of the reasons I love him. So my senior year in high school, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. My dad at the time was a professor at Oregon State, and he was a great advisor to me. I really loved animals at the time, I still do, and was thinking about getting into the veterinary program. But at the time, and it still is, it's really, really competitive. My dad encouraged me. He said, look, I know you love animals, but veterinary medicine is really hard to have a career in, especially if you want a family, and you might want to think about nursing.
I admire my wife since the day I met her. Being an RN, super tough job. I admire her because she was young, and her job right out of college, she was, working in labor and delivery, in the hospital. I was a paramedic student, and a couple of nurses thought it'd be great to introduce us.
What I do is telephonic nursing. I'm a triage nurse for large employers who have a group of employees and all their families. I specifically help women through their pregnancy. We help them identify any complications that they might be going through. The ultimate goal is to decrease the amount of early births. I can affect their lives in a positive way, whether that's just a small word of encouragement, or whether I'm helping a woman get out of an abusive relationship, or preventing a preterm birth if someone's having complications. We also get calls where people are going to commit suicide. There might not be a whole lot I can do over the phone except listen and be that person's sounding board and encourage them that life is precious, and let them vent and just be there for them and listen, because they might not have somebody that listens to them at all.
Trish worked in labor and delivery for a long time, and then she worked in recovery. We worked within the same hospital at St. Charles in Bend, and it was the only chance I'd get to see her. I was working so much. That life-work balance was really far off, but we were trying to I was trying to make a name for myself. There's a lot of ways to make money, and selling yourself to somebody else for their benefit isn't one of them.
I was looking for a family business that we could all be involved in, not just our immediate family. I wanted my husband to get home, and he stay home and have something that he loves doing.
The company I worked for, they put me on a team, and I worked with these guys that I didn't really align with, and it was painful, but it was a job. I started looking at Franchise Business Review, and I believe my wife said, "Hey, look at this little mobile truck." And so I started looking into it, and I started getting blasted with Kona Ice, and because I looked into it and I read the story. I didn't know how I was going to make money with it. All I knew was my life-work balance was really upside down, and I was miserable. And I didn't expect to be an entrepreneur. That wasn't my idea. My idea was change what was going on in my life, what I was doing to make money to live. And my wife was 100% behind me. She's like, "Look, I got a job, we can do fine." And so we had some money, and we invested in a Kona Ice franchise.
A lot of prayer went into it, and talking with Tony, Stephen was really impressed with what Tony had to say.
Tony's values aligned with mine. Kona Ice was best bang for your buck, a Franchise Business Review. We went with Kona Ice.
The financial commitment was my biggest reservation, but we stepped out in faith knowing that we are going to do a bang-up business.
What I found out is that I became more giving when bills weren't looming over my head. And it's easier to give back money when I was flush, and I kind of felt like it was a calling. I'm trying to make people happy, and I was kind of using my Kona Ice business as an opportunity to give back without really caring about if I was making money or not.
When there's a huge need, there's so many cuts with education and seeing the kids and getting to know them and knowing we're giving money back to them.
Giving, a lot of times, especially when you're older, feels better than receiving. I think those are life lessons that you learn as you get older.
I think that nursing has made me much more confident. I'm involved in people's lives during a really special time, and Kona Ice, it can be the same way.
What a better opportunity with such a great company to be able to give back and change people's lives. There's a lot of ugliness in the world right now, and we deal with it. As a firefighter, we're dealing with that ugly side of stuff. It's the worst day for people when I'm being a firefighter. It's the best day when I pull up in my Kona Ice truck for somebody else. So it could be the same person.
With Kona, I can't wait to expand and just do the best we can with that. It's something I always want to have, and it's our retirement gig.
I do admire the work that our police do, firefighters, armed forces, nurses, doctors. They don't get a lot of credit for what they're doing, and nobody realizes how hard these people work unless you stand in their shoes.
You just reach deep down inside, and that's what you need. And just rely on your faith and your instincts to be there and meet them where they're at. And that's kind of why I've chosen that role, and I really like it.
Wow.
So
That's so awesome.
Yeah.